Okay, welcome to Plum Fusion. We have done our 12 sampler blocks. We are now into the final construction of the center of the quilt. So this is the center block, and you need to do this if you're doing the medium or large quilt only. If you are just going to take the 12 sampler blocks and put them together in a quilt, you don't need this. Okay, so this is only if you're doing the medium and or large quilt. If you are not, skip to the next video. If not, join us. Here we go. So we're going to start making half square triangles. We are going to start with 6-inch squares. You're going to use fabric 1, fabric 7, and fabric 10. You're going to put the two fabrics together, mark the center, sew on either side, and then we're going to cut these apart to make hourglasses. Okay, we are not going to trim these yet. We're going to open these up. Okay, we're going to cut these in half. Ta-da! So these will make 2 hourglasses. So you're going to be making 4 hourglasses total. So when you do this and you switch them around, you're going to sew those together into hourglasses. You're going to press, and then you're going to trim from the center to 4.5 by 4.5. Okay, so you're going to have 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, next part is we're going to do some strip sets, and the strip sets are going to be made with fabric 4 and fabric 10. You're going to cut these 2.5 inches by, let's see, 21. Okay, and then you're going to cut them into 8 pieces, and you'll be putting together 4 patches. Okay, so these are 2.5-inch strips. So the strip set together, subcut into 2.5-inch pieces, flip them around and make 4 patches. These are also 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Next, we're going to do a square and a square. The square and a square starts at 3 3/8 for the center. You can fussy cut fabric number 12. These are fabric number 10. You take a 3 1/4 square, 2 of them, cut them in half for your corners. Again, you're going to mark your centers, sew on either side, mark your centers, sew the opposite sides, press them out, trim to 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. Okay, so this right here is going to make the center of your block. The next part is a little fun. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, crazy. Okay, we're going to start with 2 inches by 12.5 inches. Fabric 1 and fabric 3, and you're going to sew them together with a good 1/4 inch seam. So you're going to get these pieces, okay, 12.5 by 3.5 with the seam allowance. And what you're going to do is take the little brown 2-inch squares. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is drop them on the corners. I've folded them and ironed them already. So you're going to drop them on the corners, opposite corners. So this is, I just chain piece, and we're going to do this a lot next month as well. But you're going to chain piece, one corner, chain piece the other corner. You're going to cut your 1/4 inch seam allowance here. Now, because these don't, you're sewing these on first, okay, and you do want a seam allowance here, I will actually stack these up 4 at a time, and instead of dropping the 1/4 inch right on the seam, I'll give it a little bit extra room, because I'm just cutting these off. Nobody's going to see them underneath. You're just getting rid of some of the bulk here. Okay, so once we do that, we're gonna lay our 2-inch square on the opposite corners, and right down the middle, sew those. Okay, so you're gonna end up with 4 of these that look like that, with the triangles on the corners. On 2 of these, you're gonna take these red, this is fabric number 8, 3.5-inch squares, and sew them on either side. So we're gonna start putting our block together. There's our center. We want the red towards the middles. So this is a big block, okay? And it is bigger than the 12.5 and by 12.5 that we did before. There. We're gonna put the 9 patches in the corner, or the 4 patches in the corners. Okay, so notice that these are making around the block. It's not a circle, it's just a continuous path of fabric 10 around the block. So that way, you know that this breaks the pattern. If you feel like doing that, you're more than welcome to. But this is how the block is set up in the sample. Once this is there, you're gonna sew the 12.5-inch pieces on the side. Ta-da! And then, after you sew the red pieces on, I have one more block here. Big, 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 big. Those are your corners. Oops, sorry, moved. Okay, so if I do a little bit of shrinking for seam allowances, you can get a really good idea of what this block looks like, and it's really pretty. These are going to go into the sashing of the quilt that you're going to see in the next section. Okay, I see that's better. That goes in there, and that will go in there. So that is your center block. Okay. If you have any questions, problems, as always, you can give us a call or email us. We'd love to see pictures of your blocks when you're ready. Just pop them up and we'll start throwing them up on our feeds, and we'll see you soon.